Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob, and for the first time ever, this video is sponsored by the like button. No, that was kind of cringe. Let's get back to the regular opening. I'm Rob, and today we'll be jumping into r/relationships. Before we start, please hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you know when the next video goes live. Our story today comes to us from Throwaway52120. When I, 34 female, told boyfriend 36 male, I frequently feel judged and scrutinized by him. He told me there are millions of things he doesn't say. Do I need to change my perspective, or are we incompatible? Let's jump right in. We are closing in on 2 years together. I'd say we spend 80% of our free time together. He still pays rent at his place, but pretty much lives here. As time goes on, I have noticed an increasing sense of uneasiness when I'm doing practically anything in his presence. Many times he will flat out correct something I'm doing that he sees as wrong. Sometimes it feels like he makes patronizing comments. A lot of it feels like I'm being constantly observed, and he is barely able to keep himself from saying something about how I'm doing something or why I'm doing something this way versus that way. For a while, I saw a lot of this as him trying to be helpful. This general attitude isn't directed solely at me. I see him treat his family and friends similarly. He is someone who likes routine and seems to struggle with uncertainty. Everything has a right and a wrong way in his eyes. I'm more of a, if it doesn't affect me, I don't care person. The problem I'm having is twofold. My self-esteem is taking a real hit, being constantly corrected, or feeling like I'm always doing everything wrong. I find myself judging myself about things that have never mattered to me. The several arguments and conversations about this has been extremely unsuccessful. When I try to point out specifically what is making me feel judged, he will argue that I'm trying to twist everything into something negative, or he was just trying to help. He sees me telling him I don't like the way he is treating me as me telling him he's wrong. And we can never seem to get past this part. I continue trying to explain exactly why I'm feeling judged, almost trying to prove it to him, and he will say almost anything to defend himself. A recent example, we were going to be passing his brother's house on our way to run an errand. I decided to throw some roses that were ready to be cut in a vase and leave them on the porch for his sister-in-law. Just a spontaneous friendly gesture, nothing fancy. When I put them by the door as we were preparing to leave, he said, "Wow, that one looks crazy." I barely acknowledged this, just kind of shrugged. "Are you going to put a twine bow on this one?" I recently put an amateur arrangement together for his mom where I did. I said, "Nah, I think you wrapped the last one too many times. I think if you wrapped it twice, it would look better." His comments got in my head, and I ended up taking them back into the kitchen to rearrange them. He came into the kitchen and pointed out that one of the flowers was falling out. My eyes almost got stuck rolling. A couple hours later, when it was affecting my mood, I tried to talk to him about how that kind of interference into what I'm doing is what makes me feel like everything I'm doing is scrutinized. I learned he meant crazy as in good. He thought that I didn't like the bow on the last one, so he was just trying to help. I am just trying to fight him and twist everything into being negative. What is sticking with me is the revelation he sees issues with millions of things about me, but doesn't say anything. I'm worried about being with someone who sees millions of things I do as wrong. Am I viewing someone else's opinion as judgment? Am I seeing this clearly? Am I being too sensitive? A few other examples. Did you get a lot done today? Versus, how was your day? Or did you have a good day? These are pants you wear when you want to look homeless, referring to a pair of pants that had a few stains I was wearing around the house. I like your hair best when you do big curls with the curling iron. Then I like it straight next. And this, while pointing to my naturally wavy and curly hair, is when my baby does nothing. I put shorts on out of the dryer that were a little damp around the waistband. "Oh no, these shorts are still wet. I don't want you to get sick or mess up your pH balance." Not sure what this even means. I realize I might sound paranoid, and at this point, I probably am. Before you hear the update, comment down below what you think OP should do in this situation. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Update. First, thank you to everyone who responded to my original post. I remember exactly how confused and mentally exhausted I was at that point. Reading the responses and having my feelings validated by a bunch of internet strangers gave me the confidence to know I wasn't being too sensitive. F that. It also got me out of a constant state of rumination about what was happening to me and why I felt so off and not myself, and led me to act. I told him I wanted space and that if we were both trying our best and our relationship felt like this, we had a huge problem. I also told him that at some point he had stopped treating me like his girlfriend and started treating me like a defective human being, and I was over it and wouldn't continue to invest my time and energy into someone who treated me this way. Those first few days I spent alone were like an effing vacation. I couldn't believe how amazing it felt to do simple, everyday things without his constant interference and judgment. At the same time, I did start to notice some of the things I was blaming him for being critical of me were really areas I was insecure and being critical of myself. I spent more time over the next few months investing in myself and improving certain areas of my life. Our relationship seemed to improve slightly over the next few months. The micromanaging and criticism really improved, or I thought they improved. He might have just changed tactics. I think he started triangulating and upping the ante with the innocent insults. I think I had also gotten better at dealing with it and probably lowered the bar even more. In the fall, I had my first ever sciatica flare-up. It was an agonizing pain almost constantly. It lasted 8 weeks and I was trying everything. Physical therapy, anti-inflammatories, biofreeze, ice, not moving, powering through the pain. He was over it all after a few weeks and started treating me like I was a lazy slob. I felt so scared and helpless about how much pain I was in, and if it was ever going to get better or would I need surgery. The added stress of still trying to be a good partner was horrible. I'm not sure why this instance of his selfishness had more impact, but I felt something change inside of me in a profound way. Of course, when I tried to talk to him about it, it went very poorly. The argument ended when he mocked me for crying and asked me why I couldn't talk to him like a normal person. I can't remember when it started, but I began to have physical responses during any kind of conflict with him. Sort of like fight or flight maybe. My hands started shaking. I start feeling overwhelmed and confused. My stomach is flipping, and eventually the tears come. This comment from my original post rings true. It seriously sounds like a low-key gateway to emotional abuse. I can't imagine his BS only starts and stops at just hacking away at OP's self-worth and then gaslighting her about what's happening. These people get worse as the relationship goes on, not better. The BS certainly didn't stop there. There were so many instances during our relationship where I felt he had lied to me. There were constant interactions where my instincts told me he was being inauthentic or he was hiding something or not giving me all the details. The addictions, the attention he gave women on social media, always needing someone to blame, an almost embarrassing inability to take accountability. I still feel pretty conflicted about what I did. I went through his phone. I started by looking for a couple specific times in the beginning of our relationship where my mind had flagged something as off or a lie, but I had no idea why. Like when he insisted we go drop a bottle of champagne off to a friend of his as a congratulations for getting a new job. At the time, I couldn't place what felt off about this. I looked at texts from this specific date, and now I know that we were really there to deliver drugs. When I was able to confirm what my instincts told me were lies, it was off to the races. It was all pretty bad. He was on Tinder for the first 6 months we were together, Bumble for 9, and Plenty of Fish 11. All texts with other women deleted, secret drug use. It's hard to even remember everything, but I tried to just confirm what I had felt to be lies. There is definitely a ton of anger and sadness, but more than anything else, I felt relief. Everything my instincts have been telling me since the beginning have been accurate, and I have been fighting a losing battle against them. It felt freeing. Why have I continued this relationship in spite of my instincts for 2.5 years and endless stress and chaos? My hair has been thinning since the 3-month mark in our relationship. I've had brain fog and memory problems, despite being known for my iron trap memory, sleeping issues, weight fluctuations, My body has been physically rejecting this relationship. Somehow, I either couldn't admit that it was him, or I was really that out of it. I'm starting to try and unwind it all in therapy. I have had 3 sessions so far and am scheduled weekly for the foreseeable future. What I have learned so far is I was taught to not trust my feelings as a child by my dad, who is very likely a narcissist. I am really excited to work on my toxic patterns and behaviors in therapy and make the relationship I have with myself better and my priority. We have been living in separate bedrooms for a couple weeks. The initial confrontation was horrible, and I hurled some really rough insults and names at him. A few weeks ago, I was thinking that I would have a final discussion about why we were breaking up and the logistics of him moving out, etc. It still almost felt like I was going to have to convince him that this was good enough reason to break up. After a deadline for work is over in the next couple days, I'm going to tell him the relationship is over because I want it to be, and I do. I'm going to offer to pay for movers so I have an exact date he will be gone. I am nervous about his reaction and scared of what he might say to hurt me, but I have never been more certain I'm making the right decision. So I know I'll be able to handle whatever happens. Again, thank you endlessly to anyone who took the time to comment on my original post or reached out. I felt seen and heard that day in a way that woke me up and nudged me to really start paying attention and stop turning everything inward. Oh, and one more thing. In my original post, I played dumb about what he was insinuating when commenting about the shorts with the wet waistband. I was so paranoid at that time, I wanted to see if other people came to the same conclusion that I had. When I reread my post, that stuck out to me as sad. OP, please have somebody else there when you tell him that it's over, and have him move out immediately. You don't want to be stuck in a place with somebody who's that abusive. One thing that I'm known for saying is that life is too short to be unhappy. I look forward to another update where you tell us you got out of this toxic relationship and got into a good one and things are going well. Thank you to OP for posting their story in the r/relationship subreddit. They are linked in the description down below. Please go check them out. Check out one of these other videos, and if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit stories.